Hello, it's Mr. Jewell from Pace with one last story for this year. As summer approaches, perhaps you're starting to think about holidays. When I was your age, nearly every summer holiday was spent in the same place, my auntie's house in Devon. Once, when I was staying with her, I noticed a lovely picture on her wall. It was a picture of a beautiful eagle in flight, and by the side were some verses from the Bible. Do you not know? Have you not heard? The Lord is the everlasting God, the creator of the ends of the earth. He will not grow tired or weary, and his understanding no one can fathom. He gives strength to the weary and increases the power of the weak. Even youths grow tired and weary, and young men stumble and fall. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. I loved the picture. It was painted so beautifully with vivid, bright and bold colours. It really helped to bring the words to life. The eagle seemed to stretch its wide wings and soar straight out from the wall into the room. I loved looking at it. Many years later, I went to Devon again, this time for an activity weekend with a group of teenagers from my church. And while we were there, something happened that made me think of that lovely picture once again. We drove 100 miles. We played a late night wide game involving water balloons. We ate our packed lunch on one of the highest points of Dartmoor. We crossed rope bridges high in the trees. We climbed a tower and abseiled down. We paddled kayaks, and then, just before we drove home on the Sunday, we had a game of rounders. Now, rounders is supposed to be a gentle game, isn't it? Compared to all those other adventurous activities, it should have been the safest and least likely to result in injury. But someone you and I know, someone you've seen on each of these videos, was so keen to get from third to fourth base, he tripped and fell and landed on his shoulder and broke his collarbone, which meant he ended up going to hospital before travelling home with his arm in a sling. It made me think of the picture on my auntie's wall, because the Bible verse talks about times when we stumble and fall, just like I had done. But it doesn't stop there, does it? It continues by saying that those that stumble and fall will soar on wings like eagles. Now, that doesn't mean we can fly, but it means that with God's help, there are things that we can and will do that help us to experience life to the full, to make the most of the opportunities given to us. And that's what I want us to think about as you prepare to move up to your new class or even onto your new school. I hope and pray that in the next chapter of your school life, you will soar on wings like eagles. Let me explain what I mean. Have you ever seen an eagle in flight? Maybe in real life or maybe on TV. They look magnificent and majestic, but have you ever stopped to think how an eagle learns to fly? Eagles' nests are normally built high up on rocky cliffs. How do they learn up there? Well, let me tell you. When the baby eagle has hatched, the parents feed it for a while to make it grow strong, and then when they think it's ready, the parents do something amazing. Using their beaks, they nudge the baby eagle towards the edge of the nest. And once the baby reaches the edge, do you know what the parents do? They keep nudging. And the baby eagle topples over the edge and begins to plummet towards the ground far, far below. How cruel, how unkind, how dangerous, how scary. Well, it would be, except for the fact of what the parent does next. It swoops down and catches the baby on its back and rescues it. It's amazing. And then do you know what it does next? It flies up higher and then gradually begins to tilt its wings until the baby falls off again and plummets downwards once more. The baby squawks and flaps with fright. But then a remarkable thing happens. Instead of flapping with fright, the young eagle soon finds itself flapping in flight. The parent has helped the baby learn to fly, and before very long it can soar and swoop majestically across the sky, just like its parents. How awesome is that? Ever since you were born, and even during this last year in school, And especially if you are in year 6 and getting ready to leave and move on to your next school, you have been taught to fly, not in the sky, but in life. There have been many times when adults have helped you learn new skills and supported you when facing new challenges. And the Bible talks of someone else who, it says, has strengthened and helped you. He gives strength to the weary and increases the power of the weak. Who? The Lord is the everlasting God, the creator of the ends of the earth. When we listen to stories from the Bible on videos like this and live in the hall when we can, they help us consider who God is, what he is like, and how much he cares for us. This is a great time of year to thank those people who have helped us grow, soar, even fly. Make sure you do that, won't you? And I think it would also be a good time to thank God for watching over us, especially during this past year. Perhaps these would be good things to make the focus of my last prayer for this term. Please join with me, or just sit quietly if you'd prefer. Dear God, thank you for watching over us during this difficult year. And thank you too for the people in our lives at home and school who've helped us to soar on wings like eagles. Amen.